for children and young people at, oh, my phone's just off. Sorry. Yeah, strategic lead for children and young people at Active Norfolk. So I know some of you, but for those that aren't aware, Active Norfolk, we try and utilize the power of physical activity to improve people's lives. So not necessarily through physical health, but also mental and emotional well-being, personal and social development as well. One of the kind of tasks or projects that we run is the holiday activity and food program, of which Duane will go hopefully into a little bit more detail, and I assist him with. But that kind of comprises one of the elements of our work with children and young people. Other kind of roles within bits of work we do with it, we work with schools and education around the PE sport premium funding, and other voluntary sector organisations as well. But yeah.
Yeah, so hi, I'm the HAF coordinator within Joel's CYP team. I think Children's Services thought we were best placed and commissioned us to deliver the HAF programme because we have good network links with existing activity providers, and we'll be able to increase best practices around physical activity and nutrition. So that's predominantly why we're part of the commissioning team delivering the program. And it's nice to see finally, John, I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, but it's really nice to see that your application's been submitted and approved. We've been really looking forward to working with you, so it's nice to see you here as well. So I guess not everyone has the same context as probably what John or maybe even Paul and Joel and myself have over the program. So I have created a little bit of a presentation which hopefully will be able to serve as a good recording process for those who aren't here today or aren't able to make it. So I need to share my screen. I don't normally use, hold on, there we go, let's try that. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Should be part grey, part white. Okay, nice one. So like I mentioned, the holiday activity and food program within Norfolk is called the Big Norfolk Holiday Fun. So you might have heard that logo or that branding previously. And it's in collaboration with Active Norfolk and Norfolk County Council, and delivers a lot of the Flourish framework strategic aims as well. So I guess a good place to probably start is what is the rationale for the HAF programme. The Department of Education's focus for this programme is the school holidays are a huge pressure point for a lot of families because of increased costs and reduced incomes, particularly with now the furlough scheme ending and the fact that obviously fuel prices are now going up as well. It's a really hard time for families. And this programme supports those eligible for free school meals. And there also is within our stipulation of funding for the year, there is a 15% allocation to deliver to some vulnerable cohorts as well, which we can talk about later. As you can imagine, those children are most likely to experience unhealthy holidays in terms of nutrition and physical health. And what we need to do is make sure that they're not feeling socially isolated. So we make activities that are inclusive, safe for all, and where possible has a really nice element of learning, as well as embedding physical activity and nutrition into the offer. So we normally aim for around 60 minutes of exercise within that. There should be, or there's ambition for there to be a food preparation workshop around that as well. And then the rest of the practices can be very multi-sport in nature, or they could even be from filmmaking to bushcraft activities. So there's a wider range of activities involved in the program, because as you all know, children have different varied interests, and it's important that we target as many children as we possibly can. And evidence does suggest that free holiday clubs can have a positive impact on these children, and they work best when it's consistent, easily accessible and enriching. Involves children and parents in the food preparation where possible, and we try our best to network with local partnerships, particularly with the voluntary organisations like we're doing today, to make sure that we target those families who are interested and eligible for the program, as well as maybe building on existing provision that we have. For example, it's amazing that John's now part of the program as well. So it's again building as many links as we can in the local communities to increase the impact that we have on children and young people within Norfolk. For the first year, we didn't have a blended offer. This blended offer refers to the fact that we have subsidised places, which is those eligible for free school meals, and 15% allocation for those who are considered vulnerable, who aren't in a receipt of free school meal. But then we also have paid for places. We didn't want to take away all of the paid for provision from families. Some of those families might be close to the poverty line and just not receiving universal credits, or aren't eligible for the program. So we didn't want to take all of that away from them, but where possible, it'd be amazing if we can still have that blended offer and get those children who would pay for it to integrate with those who don't pay for it as well. And that does represent some challenges politically and how we communicate that, but going forward, we're hoping to really iron out what that looks like so everyone feels included and can participate and have a fun Easter, summer and winter period. As you might know, John, the Department of Education has a minimum standards what we have to aim to support around high quality provision. So we obviously have to incorporate a few things around healthy food, enriching activities, the physical activities, also nutritional education. But the most significant part of the assessment process is the policies and procedures. We need to have really robust and high quality provision, and the policies and procedures around obviously risk and accident reporting, behaviour management, inclusivity and accessibility, and the safeguarding is really fundamental for this programme to go ahead. And there are a few other requirements you can see. So it needs to be inclusive and accessible provision for SEND, and we try our best to plot provision based on geographical locations. So we target rural children as well. It needs to be at least 4 hours for 4 days a week. Obviously over the summer, we have a minimum of 4 weeks. For Easter and the Christmas period, we only have 1 week. So it's in total, it's up to a minimum of 6 weeks, and we normally do 8 weeks of activities across the year for children to participate in. So HAF in Norfolk, we received about 2.6 million for HAF in 2021, and we got a similar figure for that in 2022. Over 23,000 children received means tested free school meals last year, and that has actually grown by nearly 4,000. So there's nearly 27,000 children eligible for free school meals. As I've already mentioned, the activities will run across the Easter, summer and the Christmas holidays. At the moment, we don't deliver across half terms, and we don't have any other funding available to do that, which is a shame. HAF is focused on, like I said, the children eligible for the programme through means tested free school meals, but we do have 15% allocation to support vulnerable young people who otherwise wouldn't qualify. We have a different kind of process with that. Sometimes we ask schools to identify who that might be. We also ask Section 19 looked after services, even refugee asylum seeking services within Norfolk County Council to identify children who might want to participate in the programme. And obviously, as you can imagine, securing sufficient capacity within activity providers has been a challenge, particularly during a pandemic, for providers to ensure that they have enough staff to support the programme during COVID, especially when we were having to isolate and bubbles and stuff like that. It was really hard time during last summer and for the festive period, but we're now hopefully in a position where we're more comfortable now to attend face-to-face provision, and parent and child apprehension around face-to-face has gone down. So we should have increased numbers of children participating in the programme this year.
Sorry, Duane, it might just be worth mentioning here that we've had further confirmation of the next 3 years of the programme to be funded from the Department for Education as well. So I guess this just provides a really, oh, sorry if you're planning on speaking on this soon.
I was questioning myself if I did put it in there, so
yeah sure. But yeah, I guess so from my and our perspective, this just represents a really good opportunity to work with organisations such as yourselves, especially with yourselves being best placed to really facilitate provision for those most vulnerable. But yeah, thought I'd chip in there, but sorry to steal your thunder, Duane.
No worries. It's, I think I did put it in there in the opportunities afterwards. So no, thank you for reminding me anyway. I just thought before we touch on how we can collaborate going forward, just to give you some context as to what we did achieve over 2021. So for Easter, it was predominantly an online offer due to COVID, but 1,500 children did participate in online activities. And we actually had an activity and food box where 7,388 children participated and had a food box with loads of different activities they could participate in over the Easter period. For the summer last year, we had a 6-week face-to-face offer, with no real major disruptions related to COVID. There's a few cancellations of provision, but other than that, on the whole, it was quite a good program where 2,500 children nearly participated in the activities. We supported vulnerable children, Section 19, elected home educated children, as well as refugees and young carers. With the summer and the winter program, we actually created an activity booklet and distributed that to stakeholders. That went to library services, so those families who still aren't comfortable with attending face-to-face provision can go to their library service and access our activity packs and use them at home and utilize the full experience of incorporating physical activity into their everyday activities. And hopefully there's a few nice recipes around how to make a healthy pizza and stuff like that. So hopefully they use that at home, which we have evidence of, which is really nice to see how they incorporated that. And then finally, for the winter period, we had 1 week face-to-face offer with flexibility to provide activity boxes. 900 children actually attended the activities, with 2,000 children receiving an activity and food box. Yeah, and finally, that arrow was there to just remind me the fact that we again supported the same cohort around the vulnerability, the Section 19 elected home educated children, young carers and asylum seekers within the winter program as well. So opportunities for 2022 and beyond, as Joel said, the Department of Education has confirmed the program will continue for the next 3 years. This enables us to build arrangements and infrastructures to make the running of the program smoother and easier for families. For example, we obviously now have Every Move, which is an amazing intuitive activity finder, where you can list your activities, even if it's not a big Norfolk Holiday Fun activity. You can simply list your activity, where it is at, what it contains, any other information for children and families to book onto. And what we're hoping to do as part of this program is create a central booking system, and this will standardize the process for families and also those providers who don't have their own booking system. It would help refine that for them and make the process easier. And these families lead such chaotic lifestyles sometimes, and they just need a really simplistic user journey, and that's what we're trying to refine, so there isn't any barriers of participation in the program. What we can do about opportunities to increase our current HAF provision, we've identified a few key areas around life skills. If there's any sort of first aid, life-saving, swimming, cycling proficiency provision, then that would be amazing to start incorporating more opportunities around maybe life skills, particularly for older teenagers. The current provision is more focused on 6 to 11 years, and we need to create more provision around 11 plus, if that is life skills or maybe pop-up events. Like I said, they have such a chaotic life, they're quite spontaneous, they might want to just attend one day and then go somewhere else with their friends, so it's really hard for us to engage young people. So any provision around that would be really well received within the program. And then finally, links between activity providers and local food providers. Our ambition, as well as the Department of Education, is for all meals within the program to be hot eventually. This is a huge undertaking, and it doesn't happen overnight, so we appreciate all of the activity providers going above and beyond to try and source that, and where possible we try to put local food suppliers in contact with activity providers as well. So we need to increase capacity. As you can imagine, we don't have enough provision for if all those 27,000 children wanted to participate in the program. So these workshops, these Q&A sessions are predominantly around identifying new provision. If that's provision that is already existing and we're able to fund some of that, we'd be happy to go through the process and even work towards a shared offer where we help you with the application process and what we're looking for and where we're looking at to actually install that across the Norfolk County Council. So any ideas around supporting wider opportunities for children and young people would be greatly appreciated.
Sorry, Duane, it should be worth mentioning as well, we do recognise that some of the requirements behind the programme are rather holistic, and obviously we're not going to organisations and saying that you should have the knowledge and the expertise or the ability to deliver all of these kinds of breadth of activities right now. So we do have a workforce development programme aligned to Big Norfolk Holiday Fun as well for all activity providers that are accepted to deliver onto the programme. That's free to access, which covers topics such as how to deliver engaging physical education, nutritional education, that kind of thing as well. It's very much about, with organisations such as yourselves, it's about using your expertise and knowledge of engaging with those hard to reach groups of vulnerable young people, and then us kind of giving you the knowledge and the skills to be able to deliver that in a holistic and engaging way that aligns with the aims of the programme. But
yeah, I guess in short, we're any way where you need help and support, we're able to offer that. And like Joel mentioned, you already work with a lot of the families what would be eligible for this programme. So if there's any way that we can, like I said, fund some of your provision, maybe work towards a shared goal and identifying more vulnerable cohorts that could participate in the programme, that would be really appreciated.